What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In 2025, Poland's stock market is absolutely on fire, with the WIG index surging over 25% year to date and hitting a record high. That's outpacing giants like the S&P 500 and major European markets. So what's driving this rally? Could Poland be your next smart investment? Let's dive into the top reasons why Poland's stocks are soaring and why they might just be worth your attention. First off, let's talk about Poland's rock solid economy. Poland is the sixth largest economy in the European Union, with GDP of over 688 billion in 2022, and it's projected to grow by 3.3% in 2025, way above the EU average of just 1.6%. Poland has a remarkable track record. It's the only EU member to have avoided a recession during the 2008-2009 global financial crisis, and its GDP has grown by an incredible 826% since 1989 when they became a democratic country. This growth is fueled by strong private consumption, rising real wages, and significant infrastructure investments, many backed by EU funds. Poland's also got a large domestic market of 38 million consumers, plus access to the EU's 500 million strong market, making it a hub for businesses looking to expand. Add to that a low unemployment rate of just 2.8% in May of 2025 and a highly skilled, competitive workforce, and you've got a recipe for economic stability that investors love. Next, Poland's government is rolling out the red carpet for investors. The Polish Deal program, launched in 2022, offers a slew of tax incentives to attract capital. Think tax relief for R&D, innovation, and even IPOs. Poland also has 14 special economic zones offering income tax exemptions, real estate tax breaks, and competitive land prices. Plus, the government's pushing hard for green energy and tech with plans for a commercial 5G network across all cities by 2025 and massive investments in renewables as well as nuclear. These pro business policies are drawing in foreign direct investment. FDI hit 11.77 billion euros in 2020 alone, and 94% of investors say they'd reinvest in Poland. That's a huge vote of confidence for retail and institutional investors. Now, let's zoom in on Warsaw Stock Exchange. The WIG index, which tracks all companies on the main market, has climbed 26.8%, and the WIG 20, focusing on the top 20 companies, is up an impressive 28.5% so far this year. Big players like Orlen, a state owned energy giant, saw its shares surge 78.9% this year, while financial firms like PZU and PKO BP and retail giant Dino Polska are hitting all time highs. Sectors like energy, finance, and retail are leading the charge, but tech is also making waves. For example, Allegro, Poland's biggest tech firm, is catching attention, and new IPOs like Zapka's massive listing in 2024 are putting Poland back in the spotlight. The Polish financial regulator is even streamlining IPO approvals to attract more companies, which could fuel further growth. This mix of strong performers and new listings makes Poland's stock market a hotbed of opportunity. Poland's location is another massive advantage. Smack in the heart of Europe, it's a logistics powerhouse with borders next to Germany, the EU's biggest economy, and easy access to both Western and Eastern Europe. Poland's invested heavily in infrastructure. Over 5,200 kilometers of motorways and expressways as of 2025, plus modern railways, airports, and seaports. This makes it a critical hub for trade, especially with the ongoing reconstruction efforts in Ukraine, where Poland is positioning itself as a key player. The rise of nearshoring is also a big win. Companies are moving manufacturing closer to EU markets, and Poland's skilled workforce and competitive costs make it a top choice. The business services sector, with over 2,000 shared service centers employing more than 488,000 people, is booming. Mainly driven by e commerce and tech, these trends are boosting Poland's appeal for investors looking to tap into global supply chains. Of course, no investment is without risks. Poland's facing some headwinds in 2025. Inflation is still hovering around 3.5% as of May, driven by rising wages and energy costs, which could limit rate cuts and impact export competitiveness. Political risks are also in play. Poland's new president, elected in June of this year, is at odds with the Liberal government, which could lead to policy gridlock. The WIG 20 dipped 2% after the election, showing some investor jitters. Plus, Poland's high public debt, expected to hit 58% of GDP in 2025, and heavy defense spending could strain public finances. Another thing I would like to add is that Ukrainian refugees contribute 2.7 to the country's GDP and have an overall employment rate of 69% in 2024. Once the war in Ukraine settles and refugees start migrating home, this could lead to a decline in overall GDP growth. On the flip side, if the war in Ukraine takes a turn and tensions escalate, due to their proximity to the war, that may cause turbulence with their supply chains and other economic concerns, if it were to expand into Polish territory. For international investors, there's also currency risk with the Polish currency and the complexity of navigating foreign market regulations. Still, Poland's strong fundamentals and growth potential may outweigh these challenges for some investors. So, how can one go about investing in Poland? The easiest way is through ETFs like the iShares MSCI Poland ETF or ePol, which tracks a broad index of Polish equities. It's a low cost with a total expense ratio of 0.6% and gives you exposure to Poland's top companies. You can also invest directly in stocks like PZU, Dyno Polska, or Orlen through international brokers, though you'll need to account for currency exchange and regulatory differences. Platforms like Wealthsimple make it easy for global investors to access Poland via US listed ETFs. But please always do your own research and your own due diligence before you invest into any company or ETF. Poland's stock market is riding a wave of economic growth, pro business policies, and strategic advantages, making it one of the top performers globally in 2025. While there are risks, the potential for strong returns in sectors like energy, finance, and tech is hard to ignore. So, is Poland the next big thing for your portfolio? If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. If you're interested in more research, check out the links in the description for resources on Poland's market and how to invest. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.